So starting this lecture, we are going to go into the intermediate SQL, versus what we have learned before was all basic SQL. So what's the difference is the basic SQL covers the data access of relations. You have already checked how to create table, drop table. You check how to insert data, update data, delete data, and you see various flavors of select. Simple select with a where clause, with some functions manipulations. All these are accessing data of relations, which is the basic SQL. Now the intermediate table SQL is more on the query side, where you run select. The bulk of the attention is on the select. How to use different ways of different select structure to pull the data you want. And also you have some other ways to perform data set manipulation. First of all, we are going to perform some set operations between relations. Basically, we already know relations are by definition mathematical sets. So there should be some operations of a set between relations, like union or intersect or minus. Then we have a specific operation of sets, which is join between relations. Then we do aggregation for relations, and then we will talk about like filter based on relations, because then one very important concept that you will take away from this intermediate SQL lecture is that you will treat everything as relation. What is relation? You will learn to look at everything, at all the queries, or look at like views or CTEs. All of them are relation and treat them the same way. So this is a very important concept that we are going to teach in this intermediate SQL part. So first, let's talk about data set operation. So when you have multiple data sets, there are two ways that you want to blend them. You want to put their data together. One is what we call the vertical blending or set operations. You have a blue data set, you have a green data set, and the blue and the green data set both happens to have the same column structures. They are the same relation. Basically, they have the same relation definition. In that case, we may want to put them together. So this is or maybe get the intersect, or maybe get the minus of those. That's when you have the set operation. This is what we call vertical, because you will have data from both sides merged together in a vertical way. Another is called horizontal blending, which is in fact SQL join. So you have a blue, you have a green. You want to put blue and green together in a certain way that each row in blue matches with each row in the green, and the result will be each row in the end result will match to a value in the blue side and in the green side. So these are two different ways of blending, and we're going to talk about them both in our lecture. But let's start with the vertical blending. The first vertical blending we're talking about is union. We're going to link two SQL statements with keyword union. Data in either of the data set will be show up in the end result as a distinct result. So you can have a select column list from a table, and you will select the same column list from table 2, and you union them. You will get the result of both select putting together. And here, column list, of course, must be same. Otherwise, how do you put them together, right? If you want to do a union operation, that means the relation is basically the two select queries are returning two similar relations. Only when they are similar relation can you merge them together, right? So this is what we do with the union. But the one issue with union is union will only provide unique result. So when you have a select one, first select returning 3 rows and the second select returning 5 rows, you may not always get 8 rows back because there might be similar rows, same rows of same value in these two sets. So union will remove all redundancy, all repeating rows, only give you a distinct list after the merge, the data merge. If you want to show all occurrence, you will use a union all, which will keep repeating rows as here. And again, the column list must match with each other. So this is the union. And then we have what we call intersect. Intersect, as the name suggests, means the two, you will get the intersect, whatever is common in the two data sets. For example, I have here select column list from table 1 and the select column list from table 2. The intersect result will be the rows that both in the first query and in the second query, right? So it's the intersect of two data sets. And naturally, we will have an except. So data in one data set, but not in the other. Data in the first data set, but not in the second one. So the first row, first row will be selecting, first query will be selecting a data set 1. Then after the except, every data that shows up in query 2, in dataset 2 will be removed. Only leave those data in dataset 1 that is not in dataset 2. Okay. And in some other, except is the PostgreSQL naming convention. In some other DBMS, it's called a minus. So just a quick, just quickly show you what's in union and what's in intersect and what's in minus. So union have everything all put together. And for union all, the whatever is here, whatever is in the middle, are shown twice, as many times as they show up in the original data set. And for intersect, we are only getting whatever is the common to these two data sets. And the minus, of course, is removing whatever is common and leave the and keep the rest. So let's look at some sample SQL. So let's look at this table, these two tables. I created two tables, subset 1, subset 2. And now I'm inserting, note that what I inserted in subset 1, ID equals to 1 and the ID equals to 1 got repeated, right? ID equals 2 and 3. And now in subset 2, I have ID equals to 3 and 4. So between these two subsets, there's one common thing is ID equals to 3. Okay, now let me insert. And you can see that select column 1 and select column 2 from subset 1 and subset 2 will return the same dataset structure, only have 2 columns. And I show it here just to let you know that if you want to do a union, you should try avoid using a select star because you don't know what the select star may contain. Maybe someone will change the table structure later on. So these two tables may have the same structure. You can use a select star to do a union, but in the future, maybe someone change the table definition, then your select star will fail. So for union, for all the set operations, always try to explicitly define the columns. That's easier and it will have a less issue. So now let's do a select union. I'm selecting from subset 1 and subset 2. You can see that ID1, I have 2 ID1s in subset 1, and I have a 1 ID3 in subset 1 and 1 ID3 in subset 2. So both 1 and 3 have two rows, but somehow I'm only see 1, 1, 1, and 1, 3 in this data set, whereas in select union all, I'm getting 6 rows, 2 ID 1s, both from dataset 1, and 1 ID 3 from dataset 1 and 1 ID from dataset 2. Of course, I don't know which one comes from which. I'm just telling you one of them comes from dataset 1, and one of them comes from dataset 2, right? So this is union. Now, how about intersect? As we said, intersect only gives you whatever is common, and whatever is common is only 3. So let's see. And you can see that whatever is common is 3. And then how about except? Except means whatever is the dataset 1, but not in dataset 2, because dataset 2 have 3, but subset 1 have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 minus 3 gives you 1 and 2. So this is intersect and except, and now I'm going to drop the table and finish this session.